This episode of Bouts Talking Bouts is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Winning parlays, if you're looking for them in BKFC, you got to be checking out BK Bet Shark. Here's the thing, $50 buys, you get a personalized bet slip. It's based on your own budget. You can be flexible. It is what works for you. And this guy's got the receipts. You can check out all the winning tickets. You can peep them, and you can do so at Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Check him out on Instagram and get with it. Got them personalized betting slips going on, $50 buy. All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Radio, very excited to be chatting with an individual who fights at BKFC Prospect Series 2, which goes down on October the 14th. We have Bartek Kanabey and Shaun Kissane getting out there to test skills, knuckle it up, and towing the line, and great having Shaun on the show. How's everything going, man? You having a solid day so far?
Yeah, mate, my day is fine. Like I say, it's fight week, this week it's... For me, I'm very excited about it. It's last bits of finishing touches going on the training in this week. I'll probably call it a day, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, and let myself relax a little. Keep myself fresh for Saturday on fight night.
And I was noticing the post you had where you were saying new opponent, new poster, same outcome. Like, is that just how easy it is for you in terms of just like a smooth adapting? Just, okay, this is the next opponent now, and just I'm bringing my best skills to the ring.
Yeah, well, the way I look at it is, you can't come into this game half-assed. You've got to come in with 100%. Doesn't matter who you're fighting. You've got to believe in yourself. It doesn't matter who you're fighting. You could be fighting the world champion, and if you're not going in that ring to believe that you're going to win, then there's no point you being in that ring. You've got to go in there with full confidence within yourself. Like I said, the other guy I was fighting, obviously that got changed, but the new guy that I'm fighting is a different opponent. He's a southpaw, which obviously I've adapted to that quick, which I do adapt quick. So I've had plenty of sparring in the gym with southpaws. So there's been no stone unturned really. I can adapt pretty fast.
And kind of interesting wording you're using there, just talking about how one has to kind of have everything in line to like optimally perform. Like I saw you had a post a bit ago talking about how this is your comeback and you've been out for a good while and you were kind of fighting life at the time. Like, how does it feel to just kind of have everything back in order and be on a good path and readying for this fight? Like, not even in a competition sense, but just wellness in general, just good quality of life and all.
Yeah, well, see, what it is, I was out for a long while. See, I've been doing the unlicensed stuff, the unlicensed boxing, and I was doing well. I had a couple of I was the champion Northeast titles, but then I went down like a bit of a tough road. A few things in life hit us, and I didn't really handle them in the best of ways. I stopped training and everything like that, and then I was chucking myself in for fights that I wasn't training for, and then I was putting myself down more because I lost one or two, and then it was the case of, why am I doing this? So I put myself down and stopped training, which was honestly the worst thing I could have done, because it really does keep you mentally strong and positive, so it took me a while, but then I started picking myself back up. I started training, and this is who I am. I'm a fighter, and without training, without fighting, this is my path, I feel. Throughout the training camp, like I said, I've been dedicated. Things can happen in life, and I'll not be the only one that says it. Training and fighting for your passion is the best kind of cure for mental health that is out there. And like I said, I've been through some very dark times. Like I said, the worst thing I did was stop training, because as soon as I'm getting back into it, it's kept me mentally strong. I'm mentally positive. Every day I've got a drive to push forward this fight. It's what's kept me pushing forward all the time. And this isn't just a little stage that I'm fighting on. It's a big platform, and it's what I've always wanted. And the effort and the endurance I've put into this training camp and, getting myself ready for this fight has just been relentless.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, is coming across in a lot of regards. I guess within that timeline, though, like you talk about the unlicensed bouts and stuff like that. Like, when did Bare Knuckle kind of get on the radar and seem like a path you wanted to pursue there?
To be honest, mate, it came into my radar a long time ago. It was just a case of getting my foot in the door. The way I look at it, you've got different forms of combat sports. You've got MMA, you've got boxing, everything out there. But, like, the BKFC is the real deal. It's this new combat sport that's out, and it's rising, and it's a sport of its own. It's a different league, but the BKFC is the biggest platform out there. But the way I look at it is, we're fighters, we're gladiators. That's what we are. We're gladiators, and if you're at war or you're on the street and you have to defend yourself, you've got no gloves to put on. You know what I mean? You've got to get down and dirty and just handle your business there and then. And that's how it is. I think that's the natural way of it. Personally, I think it's a safer way as well. Personally, like I say, bone on bone. Yeah, it looks brutal, but for the likes of you saving your brain and everything like that, I would say it's more safer.
Well, that's just it. I've had conversations pretty frequently and even recently talking about that, just how certain fighters even transferred from gloved boxing into bare knuckle, just with that empirical evidence that it is safer, in the context of getting serious injury. A lot of bare knuckle is more superficial, large in part.
Yeah. So I've never competed, but I've also done a lot of training in Thai boxing and stuff like that, so even again, people come into the bare knuckle game thinking it's bare knuckle boxing, which it is, again, I suppose in a sense it is, but it's not. It's a different style, it's a different form, whereas obviously I've come from the unlicensed scene and stuff like that, but I also do have a background in Thai boxing. I haven't competed, but I've done it for many years, so the likes of the clinching and the one-handed clinches and stuff and the dirty boxing side of things, I've got confidence in that as well.
Yeah, and from how you were talking about the opponent switch a bit ago, it seemed like you were at least aware of, I guess, certain amendments in the game, at least in as far as your opponent having a different stance. What is your awareness of your opponent's, I guess, background and just general attributes and resume?
He's had a few unlicensed fights. I believe he's 7-1 on license, and he's 1-0 bare knuckle on a different show. But I've seen him fight. And personally, he's not someone that I'm worried about. I'm not going to take anything away from him or disrespect him. I respect all the fighters that step through, get in that ring. We're all there for the same reason, to be the best and show ourselves. I'm never one to get too cocky or ahead of myself. I will put out a good fight out there, but one punch can change it all. Doesn't matter whether you're on the winning side or what. It's one punch can change it all. So you've always got to be aware. Never get too ahead of yourself. Never too cocky. But I am confident. I know he's a southpaw. I've fought a couple of southpaws, and people get a bit up and down when it comes to southpaws, because obviously people think the southpaw's got the advantage, but I'm comfortable with that. I've fought a couple in the past, so it's not something it's been a worry or I've had to adapt to, because I've done it in the past. Like I say, in training camp, I've been sparring with some high quality amateur southpaw boxers and stuff like that, so I'm quite confident in myself. Like I say, I wouldn't come into any fight not believing that I'm going to win. So regardless of what happens, I'm coming in there ready for a tear up. I'm ready to box. If he wants to tear up, we'll tear up. But for the fact he's southpaw doesn't make no difference to me.
Yeah, well, it seems like there's a very nuanced understanding of the game, and I imagine the confidence probably comes from the quality of work you're putting in. And from what I can tell, it seems like there's at least a couple of spaces you kind of sharpen the tools out. I saw you shouting out Boxing Club Darlington, but also Washington Boxing Club as well. Are those the primary spaces you're sharpening the tools, as it were?
Yeah, well, what it is, I'm going different places. There's also the Unique Gym in Durham, and big shout out to Paul Hubber, because he's a great coach. I go to different gyms, mate. It's about experiencing different techniques. Because all gyms train differently. But boxing, it's not just you train it with boxing's boxing. Different people train people differently, and I like to learn new ways, new movements. Things that people don't expect. And that's probably what you'll see from me, little movements and things that you're like, wow, what you wouldn't expect.
Yeah, and another good shout out there too. That was also one I was noticing. I saw you shouted him out later in the summer, and you were.
If it's okay, I would like to give a shout out to my sponsors at Innovative Roofing Contractors. That's my bro Dan McLean. Big shout out to my sponsor there. My Lewis Anderson at LA Valentin Detailing, because they've been a massive help and support throughout this whole camp. So a big shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure, definitely helping the journey, for sure. And, the journey leading you to a great point here. You were talking before about just, the widespread nature of this platform and how it's an ever-growing sort of thing. And it seems like a cool concept too, at least in as far as like the whole, idea, like if you get a big finish, you're really rewarded, or even some kind of impactful, I guess, impassioned kind of performance. Like it lends itself well to kind of getting that contract, being that it's like a prospect series style kind of card. Like, do you like that kind of?
Like this show, like, I've always wanted to be a professional fighter, but I can honestly say that maybe throughout life, my head hasn't always been in the right place to be that guy, whereas now I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm the most mentally strong I've ever been in my life. Things are on the up, and like, the bend, it's rising, it's massive, and I feel like privileged to be on this promotion, because like I say, this isn't just a little promotion. It's massive around the world, to have this opportunity to come on such a stage like this and perform on this platform is just surreal for me. So I'm not gonna waste this opportunity.
Yeah, it just seems like you're super active as well. Like even checking out your social media, like it looks like you've got like even a couple gloved boxing title fights lined up in the next little bit. So I mean, very active in combat sports in general. It seems like.
Well, obviously, like I say, I've got fights lined up, but obviously, if anything it gets in the way of the BKFC, then them fights will. BKFC comes first. This is what I want. This is what I've always wanted. This is a big opportunity for me. But yeah, like I say, I get offered the title fights as soon as people know I'm back, because I'm a title fighter. I'm not like. There's a lot of good fighters, even in the licensed game, mate. There's a lot of absolute top level fighters out there, and there really is. But if it comes to a title fight and there's a place going, people want me there to fight for that title. People believe I'm going to win that title, because I'm not someone to be messed about with. When I'm in a full training camp, mate, you've got to be on the top of your game to beat me.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, yeah, just such an interesting time to, kind of follow along with the career. And also from what I was seeing on the social media, you seem like a very, involved dad and stuff like that. Like, is he kind of at that age where he's starting to understand what you get up to with the fighting? Like, is it like a my dad can beat up your dad kind of vibe, or?
Well, to be honest, mate, I'm happy you've said that, because being a dad is the most electrifying thing in the world, and I would like to say I've got another one on the way. Being a dad to me is the best thing in the world, and this is an opportunity for me to actually work hard, and I believe hard work pays off, and I could change my life for this, from the life that I've had, and tough times. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm so blessed for this opportunity, because I know what I'm capable of, and I know if I put the work in, what's possible. And I'm here, I'm not here just to have a scrap. I'm here to be involved. I'm here to fight for that title eventually. It's all for a better life for my kids, to be a somebody and say that my dad done this and my dad was this person. Yeah, and it's all for my kids. A better future, a better life. Be a role model. My son loves it. Like I had my son on the punch bag before he was 1 year old. When he used to stand, I used to punch the punch bag, and he used to come over and give it some, bless him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, that's awesome. Great to hear about the one on the way. That's some great news for sure. And I mean, it's great. You're pursuing your dreams, and your kids will get to, not just talk about the accomplishments, but also they'll see kind of the work ethic and the dedication, and whatever they end up wanting to do, they can really take inspiration from that. So that's really cool.
Well, yeah, it is really good. At the end of the day, nothing's impossible. When you're down in life and things are happening, it may feel like that everything's impossible. But realistically, it's nothing. Whatever you want to do in life, this goes out to everybody. So shout out to everybody that does struggle out there. Anything you want to do, you believe that's possible, you can achieve it. And that's the top and bottom of it. So always stay strong and always never stop believing in yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great message, man, and I love hearing about that. I guess one of the last things I kind of wanted to touch on, though, because it seems like you've got Josh Simpson recording a rap intro for your fight here. You got something good cooking up for the entrance for this one?
Yeah. Big shout out to my bro Josh Simpson. That's in the northeast. That's MC Simpson. It's like kind of on the rave scene. He's an absolutely lovely lad, but he's great at the grime stuff. And I asked him to make me a walkout tune, obviously for this occasion. And he sent us it. I don't know if you've heard it, but it's absolutely brilliant. It's putting my name out there. Always remember the name, Shaun No Pain Kissane.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the big hashtag now I'm seeing too. That's a good one. Is that like the moniker you're kind of going to be rocking from here on out?
Yeah, that's the name. That's my nickname, No Pain. So your name's Shaun Kissane, Shaun No Pain Kissane. That's the name I come out to.
Yeah, it's going to be a great entrance and a great fight, moreover, afterwards. Very exciting card in general, to be honest. But you've been great with your time, Shaun, and it's been fun getting to talk to you and get some insights into your story overall. But curious if maybe you have any kind of final parting thought you'd want to add as we're wrapping up, man.
Well, no, mate. Like I said, a big shout out to the BKFC team, and like I say, again, massively thank you to yourself and everybody else that's involved with all this, because like I say, it's a dream come true for me, and this may just be the beginning, but there's big things to come. So I advise people to keep your eyes peeled. You know, this is just the beginning, but I'm coming for it all. You know, regardless, I like a good scrap. You know, you shouldn't be in this game if you don't like it, if you're scared of a bit of pain, because the bare knuckle is brutal, and like there's a lot of unbelievable talent in this bare knuckle game. But when I'm training and I'm feeling as mentally and positively strong as I am now, let's have it with anyone.
Yeah, I love that, and just, you know, adding to the excitement I already had for this fight after talking to you, man. Really excited to see BKFC Prospect Series 2, and also really appreciate you making some time to talk a few days out from the event and appearing on Bare Knuckle Radio. So thanks for that and the great insights, and yeah, really excited to check out this fight when it goes down, but until then, you have a good rest of your day there, Shaun.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate the call, and I hope you have a good day yourself, mate.
This episode of Bouts Talking Bouts is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Winning parlays, if you're looking for them in BKFC, you got to be checking out BK Bet Shark. Here's the thing, $50 buys, you get a personalized bet slip. It's based on your own budget. You can be flexible. It is what works for you. And this guy's got the receipts. You can check out all the winning tickets. You can peep them, and you can do so at Bare Knuckle Betting Shark. Check him out on Instagram and get with it. Got them personalized betting slips going on, $50 buys.